Hello, everybody. This is Mark Blanton from the Real South Africa.
And I am Latasha Blanton, also with the Real South Africa.
And you guys are welcome to sunny South Africa. If this is your first time, this is your opportunity to come with Phil Scott with his channel.
And they will be here on March 16th through the 25th, 2022. The cost does include the flight, most meals, and your domestic flight in country from Johannesburg to Cape Town. The cost is $5,500 per person sharing and $6,150 for a person wanting a single room.
Now, at this point, you don't need any extra shots. The only thing you need to do is have a negative COVID test prior to you leaving. And then, of course, upon departure, we will get you another COVID test. And then that's it. So that's really all you need. And, of course, a passport.
So no shots, no vaccines, no nothing. Just get to South Africa. We'll see you here.
So you have a Black Lives Matter organizer in Memphis was sentenced to prison after she was convicted for illegally registering to vote. I mean, wow. So you are putting people in prison for illegally registering to vote? Well, let's talk about that. If they try to register to vote, then you send a letter back and say, her name is Pamela Moses. Miss Moses, due to the records here, you're not eligible to vote, so you cannot vote in this particular election. They really got to change some of that, and they do that to try to catch you up, because these people got laws on top of laws to try to catch people up. Now, Pamela Moses, she's described by some outlets as the founder of the BLM chapter in Memphis and was sentenced to 6 years in prison last week after she was convicted in November 2021 for illegally registering to vote in Tennessee. According to prosecutors, now Moses had felony convictions in 2015, making her ineligible to register to vote. Now, Judge Mark Ward said while handling down her prison sentence, accused her of making false statements to the probation department to register to vote. She said that you tricked the probation department into giving you documents saying that you were off probation. Said Ward in court last week said after you were convicted of a felony in 2015, you voted 6 times as a convicted felon. Said Moses in 2015 pleaded guilty to felony charges of tampering with evidence and forgery. Said she also pleaded guilty to misdemeanor charges of perjury, stalking, and theft under $500. They said public records also show she was arrested in 2016 and charged with inciting a riot. Those charges were later dropped. She said, I did not falsify anything. All I did was try to get my rights to vote back the way the people at the Election Commission told me and the way the clerk did. That's what Moses said at her sentencing on January 26th. Local activists in Memphis alleged that her conviction was erroneous and her sentencing is too harsh for the crime she committed. I said election officials have used incredible amounts of resources in a time when there's a backlog in this justice system, unlike any we've seen before. They use resources to try and convict this woman for trying to vote. Now, that's what's said of Josh Spickler, executive director of a group called Just City. Now, Moses previously said she never actually voted and only unknowingly registered. He said she faulted officials for not telling her about her ineligibility, and she began probation on the 2015 charges. He said, I relied on the Election Commission because those are the people who are supposed to know what you're supposed to do. This is what she said in December. He said, and I found out that they didn't know. He said, however, prosecutors said during her trial that Moses knew she was ineligible to vote. He said, and even knowing that order denied her expiration of the sentence, it said Pamela Moses submitted that form with her application for voter registration, signed an oath as to the accuracy of the information submitted. That's what the prosecutor said. And Pamela Moses, it said, knowingly made or consented to a false entry on her permanent registration. But why is she going to jail for that? That's what I don't understand. That's like all you got to do is deny her at that point and say, no, you're not eligible, and here's the reason why. Why is she going to jail for registering to vote? And I know that's a tactic that some of them are using to try to deter black people from voting. No one should be going to jail for registering to vote. No one should be going to jail for quote unquote illegally voting. Nobody should be going to jail for that. No. Nobody should be told they don't have a voting right. If you're in prison, well, you can't vote. You're in prison, right? But when you get out of prison, I don't care if you're on probation. How are you hurting somebody by voting? What is a crime in voting? Let me tell you something. They came up with those laws. That's one of the ways they done that to disenfranchise black people from voting. That's what that was. Long time ago. They say, well, take your gun rights, take your voting rights. That's the two things they always want to try to take away from black people. And let's go back to these Democrats, right? Just much that George Floyd bill. Now let me get to talking about voting now. That's something they should put on a federal level, that you cannot be told that you can't vote. Ain't no crime in America out there that you can do once you get out of prison saying that you're going to harm somebody by voting. Now, you committing gun crimes and you talking about the gun rights deal, you want to keep them taken away because they done a violent crime with a gun? That's a different situation to me. But voting? No. No. And the people that came up with that is all these racists, right? And in 2022, they still own that. But once again, what did your Democrats do? What did the Democrats do? They couldn't even do the George Floyd thing, and they couldn't even do the voting. Couldn't do that either. What did black people vote for them for? Remember, this woman didn't vote. She gonna sit in prison for trying to register to vote, not vote. Now, the other sister, I think here in Texas, actually voted. No, this one registered, and they sent her to prison. I'm telling y'all, these people are the devil that the Bible speaks of. I'm telling you that. And you're going to keep repeat this all the time. As long as they run it, you're going to have nothing but evil and calamity. As long as they run it. I mean, nobody should be sitting in no jail for trying to register to vote for 6 years. They got people that's be fooling around with inappropriate things with the children, don't even get that much time. I mean, that is so sick. And now, this is what some black attorneys need to do. Black attorneys in that state, you need to get together and go to that sister and get an appeal going on that and challenge that. Don't let that sister sit in there in jail like that. We got so many black attorneys out here, and I understand, being attorneys is a business. I get it. But there are stories like this that really need a group of black attorneys to go and defend. We shouldn't be dependent on the Innocence Project to do anything for people in our community. We got so many black attorneys right here, in all the different states of America. So attorneys in Tennessee, brothers, sisters, could y'all go help fight that case and appeal that case and try to get that sister a bond during the appeal? She shouldn't be sitting in no prison for trying to register to vote. What kind of crap is that? But let me comment, let me know what you think about this particular story. I mean, it's sickening. And last time it was a black woman. I noticed a pattern about them going after black women with this. Thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out the African Diaspora News Channel app in the Google Play and Apple App Store. Living in America as a black person, you recognize there is one set of laws for you and one set of laws for those, especially in the white community. In our book, Passive Aggressive Racism in the System of White Supremacy, I take you through times in my life when I first started noticing white supremacy. We teach you how to recognize it, identify it, and also counter it in our book. This book is a beginner's course for those that are just starting to wake up and open their eyes to see the system of white supremacy. As a black American person, you must understand this system because this system is life or death to you. How you handle it, how you deal with it, it can affect your mental health if you don't understand this system. Pick up our book, Passive Aggressive Racism and the System of White Supremacy, today on Amazon.